Dee Dee, I know you've had questions. You told me once. There was something you remembered from when you were a kid. You never said what it was.
I didn't know how to say it out loud.
Participated FMC promotes.
Federal regulators have opened a review into Hedgesfield Insurance.
The company says it is cooperating fully and operations continue as normal.
It's not catastrophic, but the exposure is real. Investors will be watching for how they shore up capital buffers.
What we're seeing is
I didn't say it out loud because once you say it, it stops being a memory and starts being real. My parents never talked about the incident. That's what they always called it. Not a story, not history, just the incident.
The State Financial Board says its inquiry into Hedgesfield Insurance is ongoing. Regulators are reviewing internal communication and client files, but have not issued any findings. Officials expect preliminary recommendations in the spring. For now, business continues as usual.
I knew it had something to do with how we got here. Why certain doors opened for us. Why others stayed shut for people we knew. I learned early that some things keep families safe by staying unnamed.
But lately, I can't stop wondering what it cost us to stay quiet.
Every system tells a story about itself. It calls it stability. It calls it tradition. It calls it the cost of progress. But systems don't begin as abstractions. They begin as decisions. A signature placed where understanding was denied. A policy written to appear neutral. A rule enforced selectively. Across generations, the mechanics stayed the same. Only the language evolved. Land became leverage. Risk became a code word. Exclusion became procedure. Some families accumulated insulation, property, credit, protection. Others inherited exposure, labor without equity, debt without relief, silence without recourse. This wasn't chaos, it was consistency. Not everyone who benefited understood the full architecture, and not everyone who was harmed could name the structure, but the outcomes repeated with remarkable precision. When truth surfaced, it wasn't rewarded, it was absorbed, documented, reviewed, deferred. That is how systems survive accountability. They do not erase history, they bury it under paperwork. But memory doesn't disappear. It relocates. It waits. Sometimes in ledgers. Sometimes in bodies. Sometimes in the moment someone realizes they can no longer look away. Because once a pattern is seen, it cannot be unseen. There's a moment when truth stops feeling like discovery and starts feeling like inheritance. Elias did not set out to undo a system. He only followed the paperwork, the dates, the signatures, the omissions. What he found was not a crime in isolation, but a design, repeated, refined, and normalized until harm no longer needed intent. One family learned how to convert instability into leverage. Another learned how to survive its absence. Land became debt. Debt became policy. Policy became tradition. No single moment broke the law loudly enough to be remembered, but together they wrote a future that felt inevitable to everyone born inside it. Elias walked away because some truths cannot be unknowingly carried, and some silences are not peace, they are preparation. Because systems do not disappear when exposed. They adapt, they wait, and eventually they find the next person willing or forced to see what was never meant to stay buried.
Foreman, the caps, they're split, shouldn't fire.
They're fine, we finished today. Back to work!
Metal's cracking! Go, go!